Some Miles Davis. Oh yeah, so what? Welcome back, viewers. It's James Comm, the guy on the bike. We're down on the Lower East Side at Pocket UTOPIA, and we're going to visit an exhibition by Paul D'Agostino. Well, I'm going to snag Paul and try to get you to give us a little rough cut run through of the show. First of all, tell us what the title is.
The title of the show is Twilit Ensembles.
Twilit Ensembles. Mm-hmm. And mostly what we've got here is a series of charcoal drawings.
Yeah.
Tell us about the drawings, because I think they're kind of interesting, not only as kind of graphic statements, but you've also got a literary aspect to them.
Yeah, they're all drawings that tell stories.
Tell stories.
And they tell the stories of personages and forms that I found on my studio floor. So I'll start with this guy over here, because he's the figure. This is the set that gave birth to everything else. So this is the man with crappy arms and legs.
This is not a self-portrait, is it?
It's not a self-portrait, but I think if I stand in profile, I think maybe it might line up just a little bit.
Now, you were saying that these were they were based on ink blots or paint splops on your floor?
Yeah, paint splotches on the studio floor. And so this is from my bedroom, which used to be my studio. This is the paint splotch that I wasn't going to see anymore, because I was soon going to be moving out of the room. So I wanted to commemorate this paint stain that I had been living with for 4 years. The book has all of the stories in the 4 translations.
And that's available through Pocket UTOPIA.
Available through Pocket UTOPIA.
Right?
Nothing without me.
And there's also, you can buy it online too.
We'll post a website. Did you spend a lot of time thinking about the man with
I spent
bad
a lot of
arms?
time thinking about it. Just like we all do. We all look at wood grain or clouds or whatever and read images. But if there's one at home that you see all the time, you really start
becomes
to
your
form
friend.
a relationship with it. So what I wanted to do was turn the insignificant paint stain into something significant. And so by translating it from the floor to the paper, I translate him from a positive space painting accident to a negative space drawing intention.
Right, you're filling in the
And
negative space.
Exactly. So I give him a name, and I give him an identity, and then I give him a story. And so the insignificant paint splotch attains all these different levels of significance. And at the end of the narrative of each character here, in this case at the end of the narrative of the man with crappy arms and legs, the significance gets translated into a third dimension and gets filled in by a sculpture.
What I wanted to ask you was, did you spend a lot of time developing the narratives on this? How did that sort of go from your paint stains or whatever to the stories? And some of them are pretty fleshed out. You've got one here about the doctor that's
Herr Dr. Zweizähne.
Zweizähne.
Yeah, Mr. Herr Dr. Two Teeth. because
Okay.
the stain had two teeth. I'll show you the stain. Here was the paint stain. So you can see
There's the paint stain, and that
first-
evolved into the
right. The first drawing in each series is more or less the most faithful.
All of these pieces are just basically charcoal on construction paper. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
And then the text is written with ballpoint.
Right, exactly. So it's just a lot of charcoal and a lot of rubbing the charcoal into the grit of the paper.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked is that you've got a really nice velvety texture on there, and contrasts nicely with those forms. Let's take a look at some of the collages and paintings.
So these two collages here are the two most recent from a series called Futuro Anteriore.
Now, you're also a professor of Italian literature. Is that what you teach?
I teach Italian language.
Italian
and
language?
literature and film if there's enough enrollment. But for the most part I teach language and I work in the art department also at Brooklyn College.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this little painting here?
This painting here is from a series called Anum Keine Anum, which means idea of no idea or notion of no idea. So it's a series of painting and collage pieces that are born of a mix of intention and lack of intention.
Okay, you know what? We'll go and wrap up looking at these two large acrylic on canvas pieces. Well, larger.
It's acrylic and charcoal on canvas, yeah.
Now, you also run the space out in Bushwick. Centotto?
Centotto.
Centotto. You're
Bravo,
gonna give me my Italian lessons today.
Sei bravissimo.
And I know that part of your mission out there is getting artists to get into a discourse and maybe write about ideas and things like that. And I think that it's interesting that your work here that you've mixed with the images and the text sort of also expresses that. What is it about combining the literature or the text and images or language and visual things that intrigues you?
Combining all of these things is when I feel that I'm most inside of my work. It's when I feel most enthusiastic, most engaged, most embedded in it. And you know, sometimes you make work that's outside of the way in which you feel most engaged and most embedded, and sometimes that's liberating. But for me, most enriching is to mix these things. There are times when I will work outside of narratives or language, and
Right, there is no text in these.
But sooner or later, I find myself right back in the middle of it. And so these paintings, these two paintings, this painting here, and those two paintings over there, they're from a series of paintings called Nocturnes, and Nocturnes relates to the process that I adopted to make them. But the reason I have them in the show here is that out of the body of Nocturne paintings, which are about 10 now, these were the most landscape suggestive, which I thought worked well with the exhibit because this one is called Figure nella radura, so figures in the glade or in the clearing. And this one's Fonti Silvestri, which is sylvan sources. And that one over there, those two small paintings are La Grotta.
La Grotta.
Which is
The grotto.
The grotto. And so these paintings punctuate, or in a sort of punctuational way, divide the drawings and the sculptures because they're the kinds of settings out of which strange narratives and strange characters might emerge.
Do you see that as a kind of coming out of surrealism? Do you see a relationship with surrealism in that?
I do. I do a lot, and it's certainly something that a lot of people have brought up in looking at the work and talking about the work. But
Thanks for taking us for a little tour, Paul.
thank you.
Paul D'Agostino, what's the name of the title? The title of the show again is
Twilit Ensembles. And it's at Pocket Utopia through April 21st of the year 2013.
Thanks.
Thanks, Austin Thomas. And as always, thank you, Kate. What's your name?
James,
James. How old are you, James?
13.
Way to go, James.
Thanks.
Thank you.